You're the one who invaded people's homes. Heck, people can get shot for doing that.
I didn't get a chance to get my.
You had your chance when we put you on probation in the first place, ma'am. Those cases, and you were hereby sentenced to confinement in the institution. Okay, so she quit reporting for that August, on August 27th, 2024. And then she was absconder, I guess. She was to report monthly.
Yes.
And so we get August, September, October, November, December, January, where?
And she was arrested in March of 25.
February and March, 7 months goes by. And then she gets arrested. She didn't report. She gets arrested.
Yes.
340 days.
Before this courtroom exchange even begins, understand what's really at stake here. This isn't just about missed appointments or paperwork errors. This is a probation revocation case where the clock has already been ticking for years. The defendant was originally given probation instead of prison, a second chance under strict conditions. And those conditions are simple: report, stay clean, and don't commit new crimes. But according to the court, those rules weren't just bent, they were completely ignored. We're talking months of absconding, zero restitution paid, repeated drug use, and new criminal conduct while already under supervision. The judge isn't just weighing sympathy versus punishment, he's deciding whether probation itself has failed. And when a judge starts talking about public safety, victims, and fairness to thousands of other probationers, you know the tone has shifted. The tension you're about to hear isn't accidental. It's the sound of a courtroom reaching the end of its patience. So as you watch this unfold, ask yourself, when does accountability finally outweigh second chances?
Pleaded true to allegations 1 and 4 of the first amended motion to revoke probation, filed on September 30th of 2025 in this case. And anything anyone wants to add from here? State?
Nothing, Bruce.
I think we're going to move forward one way or the other. We've had enough time to figure this out, and if we're not going to get help from Louisiana officials, there's nothing we can do. We can only take care of Texas. So what says the defense?
Judge, I think Ms. Stafford may want to speak to us in a few seconds, but I was wondering, so she did plead true 1 to 4 without a whole lot of fanfare. She came in and owned up some stuff. One of our initial settings with the court. Since then, we've been trying to work this out with some court conditions that the court imposed. She complied with rather quickly. The state hasn't been able to verify some of the information, but she does, from what she is telling me, have some plans with MHMR and Spindletop, to where she could, if she were to be able to get out, get reinstated, she could go there, get the help she needs. Apparently housing, GED, place to work and whatnot, that she could take advantage and start paying back the restitution that the court has ordered on the underlying cases. She knows she made bad decisions with her probation status, with some drugs and whatnot. But some of that was she was transient and didn't have a home.
How much was paid back on restitution, if any? Nothing.
But she was homeless, Judge, without a job. And so if she could get help with getting a job, that might lead.
Didn't stop her from committing a burglary. Didn't stop her from using drugs. Didn't stop her from failing to report. Come on.
She has been doing well, and she has been incarcerated. She's clear-headed, hasn't had to worry with drugs. I think she's seen the.
I agree. I think
she's seen the error of her ways, and she's.
Incarceration seems what's best for her and her actions. It seems certainly has not proved to be a harm to the general public, except for the costs of the taxpayers to house her. But it's incarceration that keeps her from using drugs, and we know where she is because she doesn't report when she's supposed to. She's been on probation since July of 23, and that's 2.5 years. It's failing. She's had a fair opportunity. Question is, what do we do? And I hear you want to continue on probation. What's the state say?
Your Honor, she still owes the $23,835.
She hadn't paid a dime.
No, sir.
So, I mean, keeping her out for 2.5 years has resulted in nothing except her spending whatever she can for buying drugs that she's test positive for: meth, amphetamine, ecstasy, and marijuana.
Just obviously leave it to the court for whatever you think is appropriate for that amount of restitution that's still owed and has not been paid in this case.
Can't you see what season? Yeah, it's hopeless under these circumstances. If not one penny has been paid in 2.5 years.
Judge, would you like to hear from the Stafford?
Yeah.
Judge Stephen, I know it don't look right. It wasn't right what I done.
No, it's not. It's clearly wrong. You committed a crime. You committed crimes while you were on probation in the drugs. You bought drugs, used drugs. That's all crime. Every one of those are crimes, felonies. Well, some of these are felonies. Methamphetamine possession is a felony, for example. And you didn't report. You scampered off. You went AWOL. We can't help you when you scamper off and disappear. That's the one thing you have to do. If you can't do anything else, is you've got to report regularly, or else you're really not on probation. You're on your own probation, which is failing. Your probation, while you supervised yourself, you went out and got into drugs. So
If you give me a chance to vote.
I gave you the chance, ma'am, when we placed you on probation the first time. How many chances do you get? How many chances? Everybody is subject to the same thing. We told you hey, as you know, the actions have consequences. And if you violate your probation, only one violation is enough to grant a motion to revoke probation. Your probation can be revoked. You can be sentenced up to, in this case, up to 10 years in prison, even though this was a second-degree felony. You were placed on regular probation, so the cap is 10 years, even though it would have been up to 20.
Can you just give me a chance to fight for
You had your chance. I opened the door for you. I opened the door for 5,000 people. Everybody swears that they're going to do the right thing, and 93% of our probationers do. They don't come back and try to explain where they get their drugs, how they got their drugs illegally, committed crimes, and they report. When you don't report, you're AWOL. And I'm going to set an example. They have to follow the rules. If I didn't, then if I treated you differently, then people would say, yeah, I didn't report, but I want the Lydia Stafford rule. She didn't report, and then when y'all caught her, then she got another chance. That's what I want. You are fair, aren't you, Judge? Well, I want to be fair. I'm going to treat everyone similarly in the same situation. You can't go out and go AWOL for all this time. You can't go out and use drugs and then say, okay, I'm going to really follow the probation this time. You've had your chance, you know. Let me see the pre-sentence report if you would be so kind. Thank you.
This moment right here is critical. The court isn't guessing. It's dealing with numbers and documented history. Over $23,835 in restitution remains unpaid, and not a single dollar was contributed over 2.5 years on probation. That matters legally because restitution isn't optional. It's a condition of probation meant to compensate victims. At the same time, the defense is arguing hardship, homelessness, addiction, lack of resources. But listen carefully to how the judge responds. He draws a firm legal line between circumstances and choices. Drug use isn't being framed as a medical issue here. It's being addressed as criminal conduct because the substances were illegal. And perhaps most damaging of all is the failure to report. In probation law, reporting isn't a technicality. It's the foundation of supervision. Once someone stops reporting, the court loses visibility, control, and trust. That's why you hear the judge emphasize fairness, not just to this defendant, but to every probationer who followed the rules. So here's the real question. Should probation continue when supervision no longer exists?
All right, anything else to add from anyone here?
Judge,
Go. Yes.
I get the sense of where this is headed, so just making the argument that Mrs. Stafford has been entirely compliant with everything the court has requested of her up to this date. She has been trying.
No, she has not.
Well, since
She submitted
the revocation.
those are all serious violations.
Yes, sir. And she pled true, and the court had requested some information from her. She provided the court with information. The state had yet to verify it. She did admit she has a drug issue, which I tend to think mitigates these cases. And as such, if the court is not going to reinstate her,
It's not the truth. It's not. There isn't a condition that you can't use drugs. Yeah, there is a condition you can't commit crimes, and these are all illegal acts. These are crimes that you're committing, not just I'm taking medicine or controlled substances, but it's illegal what you have done. It certainly was inappropriate not to report. If you can't do anything else, you have to report. That's the basis. If you don't report, you're not on probation, but I've been over that. You just failed, and I'm sorry you did, but I'm sorry for the victims of the burglaries. That's the victims here. You're the one who invaded people's homes, and we gave you a chance, and heck, people can get shot for doing that.
I didn't get a chance to get my.
You had your chance when we put you on probation in the first place, ma'am. And here we are with a motion to revoke probation alleging not one, but 10 violations. We've already, yeah, we warned you at the beginning, and I know the probation officer is helping as best he can, but anything else? I'm sorry, ma'am. What state say?
Again, Your Honor, just whatever the court thinks is appropriate for this amount of time. Generally, with that amount of restitution, the court has given the maximum from what we've dealt with. So we'd have to ask for, Your Honor. We'd ask for the maximum. That's what the court generally gives when there's a large amount of restitution.
She has been compliant since this has been filed. She's been trying to do better. I think she has an earnest belief or earnest effort to try to do better. Drugs did cloud her decision making and made it more.
It wasn't the drugs; it was her choices that fouled up.
The outcome is now clear. The court formally revoked probation after finding the violations proven by a preponderance of the evidence, the legal standard required in revocation hearings. The defendant admitted to multiple violations, including failure to report and criminal conduct, which alone is enough to revoke probation under Texas law. Despite arguments for leniency and rehabilitation, the judge emphasized accountability, victim impact, and equal treatment under the law. The final sentence, 5 years in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, reflects the court's conclusion that probation was no longer effective or appropriate. This case highlights a hard truth about the justice system. Second chances come with responsibilities, and when those responsibilities are ignored, consequences follow. Now, we want to hear from you. Do you believe the judge made the right call, or should rehabilitation have been prioritized over incarceration? If you found this case as shocking as we did, make sure to hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more jaw-dropping courtroom breakdowns.
Here's what we're going to do, Ms. Stafford. In cause numbers 23 CR 342 and 343, the court finds that you have pleaded true voluntarily, knowingly, intelligently, and also in cause numbers 341 and 360, you have pleaded true to allegations in each of these cases, to allegations 1 and 4, voluntarily, knowingly, intelligently. That is enough to grant these motions to revoke probation by a preponderance of the evidence or greater, and your probations are subject to revocation. I am hereby revoking your probations for your violations of probation in cause numbers 23, 342 and 343. Your probations are revoked in those cases, and you are hereby sentenced to confinement in the institutional division of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice to serve a term of 5 years. But you have gotten into drug trouble again, and you have walked off the job and failed to report. That's irresponsible. You have to pay a price for that, and I'm holding you accountable. Anything else to add? That is all. Thank you. I wish you would do better.